Have you ever seen those great back and forth conversations on TikToks, on Instagram Reels, even YouTube Shorts, where two characters or two different people are talking back and forth in the context of a single TikTok with one person playing both roles? Today, we're going to talk about how you can be effectively creating these for your business, for your brand, to really get out there and help people to learn more about you and how they can engage with you. Now, I do this inside of my own businesses, and it has worked wonders for me because it's a great way to deliver content in a funny, parody kind of way without it being too aggressive or in your face, but really bringing those points home so that people can learn more about you and your brand. Here's an example. Hey author, who designs chapter headers in books? Usually the formatter, occasionally a cover designer though. Cool, what if I wanted to submit a chapter header for a book? I mean, you can always talk to the author or publisher to see if they're interested. I can do that? Sure. Sometimes they'll pull you on for a custom chapter header creation, which will pull elements from the story, but you can also design basic pre-made samples to send in. So cool, now I need to get all fancy with this. Sounds like fun. Hey, so can I design chapter headers for that book you just got the rights back for? You can show me what you got. So for me, when I'm creating these, the first thing I do is actually create a script. This means I am going back and forth between my two characters and what they're saying, and so before I do anything else, I decide the topic for the conversation. I try to keep it between 15 to 40 or so seconds. Usually I try to keep it under 30 so that I can use it on Instagram Reels as well, and I want to make sure I'm having two conversations back and forth. So then I'll create my lines, and I'll have one person talk, and then the other person talk, and then the first person talk, and then the second person talk. And this is to have that back and forth conversation. I always make sure I keep my lines very, very short because as I'm doing this, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, I actually do not memorize both sets of lines. I memorize one line at a time and deliver it to camera so that it's easy for me to do. So I keep the lines very, very short, very punchy, and they go back and forth answering questions and asking questions of each other. So once I have my script, then I'm going to get ready to film. Now my characters have two distinct looks, and I do recommend this. Not everybody does this, but I do recommend it. It's going to make it a lot easier for your people to understand who is speaking and why they're speaking in that particular way. So I do recommend you do something to visually set things apart. So different hairstyles, different outfits, even different backgrounds are going to be great ways to establish which character is which. And I do recommend you create those two characters and then you use them over and over and over again. This should not be a back and forth between random person and a random person and then somebody totally new the next time. Have those distinguished characters that you use over and over again. So for me, in my author life, I have an author speaking to a reader. My author has the long hair like I do, I leave it down, and she dresses a little more frilly, a little more professional-like, and she's got a solid colored background, while my reader has a braid in her hair, she wears glasses, and she dresses a little more casually and stands in front of a bookshelf. These are great ways to separate my characters as people are watching. When it comes to filming this, I actually make it incredibly easy for myself. So the first thing I do is grab both sets of outfits I'm going to be wearing, and I have my accessories next to me if I need to. I'll set up my ring light, I will set up my phone to record, and I will put on my first outfit. Now I will deliver each line from that character in that particular recording. So I do one recording per character. So character one is going to be dressed, let's say, in a green dress and has her hair down long. She is going to look at the camera and say her first line. I will have it on a phone, on a tablet, on a computer, even on a printed out piece of paper next to me, and I will refer back to the lines. So I'll look over here at the phone, I will read the line, and then I'll deliver the line to the camera. If I don't like how I said it, I'll do it a second, maybe even a third time, and then I'll look back over here, and that pause is going to give me a gap in my footage when I'm editing it so I know where I'm cutting it to splice in the other footage. So I'll learn line 1, deliver it, learn line 2, deliver it, learn line 3, deliver it until I'm done with those lines. I am not swapping out outfits in between, and I'm not stopping my camera. This is a big pro tip here. Do not stop your recording in between lines for the same character. That just means you're going to have to do more editing. When you're all done recording, you are going to adjust things like your contrast level, your blacks, your whites, your highlights. You're going to maybe mess with your exposure a little bit. And it's easier to do that if it's in one single take. So if it's in one video, you can then chop out anything you don't need, any breaks or any mistakes that you make, but you only have to edit it once. You don't have to match the lighting and match the exposure and match the contrast every single clip because it's already done for you. So once you've created your first character, you filmed all the lines, then you're going to stop your recording and you're going to step away. You're going to get changed into your other outfit and you're going to come back if you need to switch backgrounds, do whatever you need to, set up your phone again, and you're going to repeat the process by looking at the lines, learning the lines, saying the lines, and then you're going to go through that. When you're all done and you're happy with that, you are then going to take your footage over to Adobe Premiere Rush or whatever program you are using to edit. If you need help with how to do this, I have tutorials on Instagram, Reels, on TikToks, on all the good video editing programs that I like to use and you can be using too down in the comments below, so make sure you check those out. And you're going to sit there and you're just going to swap in the different things. So I usually clip one up, and I take all the breaks and all the mistakes out, and then I will look at the second piece of footage and I'll take the lines that I need and drag them right in as I go so that I don't have to kind of mess things up. So my pro tip to you here is to edit the first section, the first character that's going to be on screen, have all the breaks removed, and then you're just going to have clips of footage. Then when you get to the second footage, you are going to then get the first line and drag it immediately over to its place so that it doesn't get jumbled up as you're moving things around, because that's an easy way to mix things up. So once you're done with that, you will be able to splice them together. I do recommend taking out any breaks. So I do expand my audio as I am editing in Adobe Rush, and I'm looking for any breaks. And at any time that goes from one character to the next and there's a pause or a breath there, I will take that out. I want it to be very closely clipped together so that there's no lag time. There's a lot of energy to it and there's a lot of engagement with it. Back when I first started, I actually had a little bit more of a pause in between my characters speaking. And now that I'm watching them back as I'm putting them over on Reels from TikTok, I am noticing it's much lower energy and it's a much slower process and it takes a little bit longer and it's not quite as snappy as my current ones. So clip out any pauses, any breaks. You want to have a very fast-paced conversation. Pretend that you are a Gilmore Girl on coffee or me talking in these videos, and you want to make sure that you are taking all those pauses and mistakes out and clipping them together nice and short. And then all you have to do is export and put it over on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, on YouTube Shorts, wherever it is that you're going to need it. This is a great way for delivering content and really engaging with people in a fun way that kind of gets their attention and delivers that content. So it's entertaining and educational, and it's incredibly easy to do. And I just repeat this process. Now, here's a bonus pro tip for you. When you are creating these, I do recommend doing multiple at once. So you can actually write 5 scripts at once, 3 scripts at once, 10 scripts at once, and you can just back and forth do all of these things. Now, some people have a uniform for character 1 and a uniform for character 2, and that's fine. That way, you can just do line from the first episodes, line from the second episodes, line from the third episodes, they're all in the same outfit. I personally don't like this because what happens if that outfit gets ruined, or there's a hole in it, or you outgrow it, or you lose weight and you can't fit it in anymore? What happens when you can't get access to that costume? You then have to switch its look. So for me, I use a different outfit every time, but my staples are how the hair is and how the background is. So the glasses, the braid, the hair down, the solid background, the bookcase, all those things are concrete staples of my back and forth conversation so that it kind of gives that familiarity to people as they're watching it. They can instantly recognize, oh, this is what I'm watching right now. And then I switch the outfits every time, which also gives me a way to kind of show off all of my wardrobe, and you can do that too, but it's totally up to you. Back and forth conversations like these are incredibly helpful and incredibly good for growth. In fact, I fully credit the entirety of my growth on TikTok, my 25,000 followers in just a few months, to these back and forth conversations between my author and my reader, and my other show, My Reader and My Reader. So there's really a lot of room for you to grow in this. This is something that's very familiar on the TikTok and Instagram Reels platforms right now, so I highly recommend you jump into it and leverage it for your business. Just put your own unique spin on it, make sure you're not copying anybody else, but the format itself is something a lot of people do. People are very familiar with it, and they love to tune in because these are funny, educational, and entertaining. If you've got questions on how to create TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, or anything about social media, I would love to get this answered for you. Make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell, because we are not done bringing you really great ideas for how you can grow on these platforms. And I may or may not have some videos coming up in the not too distant future where I'm literally handing you a ton of content ideas. It's literally just a massive list of content ideas, so you don't even have to think about what you're going to create for your Instagram, for your TikTok, for some of your other social platforms as well. So stay tuned, hit that notification bell, because you do not want to miss out on this, and I'll see you in the next video as we continue to help you grow a profitable business through your smart social media marketing.